Alright. Yep. Here we go again. Like if we never ever left. Yay! BBR again. Woo! Yeah, more draft league on Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's probably just one of the funniest things I've ever seen in Wi-Fi. Just having the same league being run 3 times in a row in such a short amount of time between the end of a season and the start of another. Man, Gen 9's being pretty. Well, yeah, Gen 9 being pretty particular, I would say. Like with the first season being awful with the timer, then the second season we had a good timer, and now we're starting again for a third time because Pokemon Home is out, so we can use the Pokemon Home. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good thing to start to say. Like no introduction, like you know on which channel you just click it, and yeah, okay, so this, as you know, in like a tradition for any draft league that you upload, there's the draft analysis. This is the draft analysis and we just talk about the Pokemon that we have drafted. So I guess this is what I'm gonna do with the Pokemon that I've kept. I mean that I just let it on the screen in front of you, which is a little favorite of mine that is back. Yes, Spectrier is back, baby. It's time to unlorse the horse. And in Gen 8, Spectrier was, for me, it was still strong. Like, sure, he had like the coverage syndrome where it's pretty much just ghost move or nothing, but it still didn't stop me from using it and loving it just because of how good Ghost is. And now we're in Gen 9, and boy, did they buff Spectrier hard. They improve its coverage by giving it Psychic and especially Draining Kiss. Well, Psychic might not be like that influential, but the super effective move on fighting and poison type is always appreciated, depending on the matchup, of course. But of course, the kicker being Draining Kiss, which now get a super effective move to hit Dark. Well, I mean, it's 50 base power, so technically 100 isn't a lot, but considering that this is without that is best option otherwise. Yeah, yeah, Spectre is busted. Also, with the move pool cut, as you know, like not every dark type has knockoff, not especially not every normal type has knockoff or toxic to that matter, meaning that the like if you cannot check it defensively with dark type, your bet is normal type. So the problem is that normal type cannot touch Spectre back. Yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with this Pokemon. Yeah, horse! The horse is back to kick some ass. Yeah. Alright. That's the first pick. Yeah, this is how I'm gonna introduce this draft. Yeah. We all know how draft analysis are. It's just that I'm not gonna bet around the bush. That's it. You know I'm a spectre here. That's it. The mon is gonna kick some ass. That's all I can say. Next, I needed a dark type, of course. Like eliminating a dark for Spectre to deal with is always nice, while having my own to fight opposing ghost types. I was thinking between it and Alolan Mog because Mog, like it has Poison Touch knockoff, which is super annoying to deal with because one, removing item is huge. Two, poisoning the target is also huge. Though it did lost Pursuit because of how we have come now, which sucks. It also lost Recycle, which sucks. The berries like Figgy now restore 33%. Yeah, it definitely is a big nerf, but also he has Shadow Sneak as well, from what I remember. But Poison Touch knockoff are still pretty good. So I was really arguing with it, but I was like, if I go with Mog, then I'm not judging it right now because it's too early. But if I go with Mog, I pretty much have to dedicate for the Ting-Lu, for the dog, I mean. So it would be pretty obvious that Ting-Lu wouldn't fall back to my position, which I was, what was I about again? I think it was 11. So yeah, more reason to go with Ting-Lu right now. I secure it. We all know what Ting-Lu does. It's super dummy fake. It set up hazards. Ruination is good. Stab Earthquake is good. And yeah, I didn't say it was dummy fake. And yeah, just having it means I don't have to rely on anything else to stop hazard because he hits the hazards. Yeah, that's Ting-Lu that we got in the first season of that we participated in the BBR 2 as well. So yeah, nice to have it back. And speaking of season 1, another returning face being Screamtail, which also, Paradox Jigglypuff, really good defenses, great speed, for tank, good move, utility move pool, like something that'll be good this season as well. Like I said, I had those two in the first season I participated in. The problem with those two is that yeah, I had two great defensive Pokemon in a format where we had to play under 20 minutes. That counts moves, uh, option selection, and animation. So I didn't have time to just sit around all day with those two. Like that was also a huge problem. Like I started like early in Gen I was like, oh, I love Screamtail, but then the more I use it, I felt like a bit less. But I think that was because of how we play originally. But I think that now that we have the good timer, I'm gonna have some fun back with Screamtail. Yeah. Also, I know it learns, like the bulk up and combine for offensive setup, but with base 65, I think it's pretty easy to say that they're not great. They're fun. I did test them a couple of times, but they're really not great. Preferably, I'll stick with the defensive set because this is what Quintel does best, of course. All right, next. So I had Spectrier as a strong special attacker. Ting-Lu as a dummy fake Pokemon. Quintel as another dummy fake Pokemon. Now it was time to patch up more of that offense. So I had special offense, not only physical offense. And since my special offense was Ghost, it was no better to go with a physical offense of fighting. And at higher tiers left was Galarian Zapdos. Which, base 100 speed is pretty nice to round it up. Fighting and flying is such a crack offensive combination. I don't know. It's Capdos. It hits hard. That's all you need to know. It's a hard hitter. You just scarf to make sure you can get his hit on faster target or choice band if you just really want to nuke things on the switch. Yeah, it's Capdos. Why is there else to say? Like I don't know. Maybe you can try setup set with that. Well, I like Zapdos, G-Zap when it does immediate damage, not trying to set up like. But yeah, it's Zapdos. Alright. Then after that, I wanted to run up my type diversity, which of course, the first one needed being the water type, which, they're good. Like, I think don't like taking like a surf or a hydro promise. Pretty much just Screamtail. So I grabbed my water types that was not only just a water type, but it was immune to water outright. It's Volcanion. Now the downside being that it's a water type that doesn't want to switch on ground, but it's also a water type that can dominate other water type because of water absorb. Everything is lacking in toxic too. While Volcanion is the biggest middle finger to all water type because he is the only one that kept Scald, even though he has Steam Eruption, which is pretty funny. And besides that, firing water is pretty strong offensively. Like dragons are annoying, but I have a Scream Tail. Also have Ting-Lu with dummy fake. I wonder how many times we'll say that Ting-Lu is dummy fake. We'll see. But yeah, it also is strong. Like Steam Eruption is also great. Like being able to force burns is good for Spectrier so that either I don't have to spam Will O Wisp for it all day, or I can even just straight up free the move slot on it. Also, Volcanion is just so good. Like as well as a Pokemon that can just stay on a 1v1, it's so good. Like it's so bulky, it's so strong at the same time. Yeah, that's the type of Pokemon that can force 1v1 trades, and I'm happy to have it. Now, there was another problem when I wanted to round up my type diversity. of course, I'm gonna take the words of wisdom of PokeMSD that you always need a grounded poison type, not a ground poison type, but a poison type that is touching the ground. So that way you don't it didn't say that. It didn't start it like I mean. Basically, yeah. Poison type, keep touching the ground, absorb toxic spikes. There you go. And also another type that was lacking critically being the steel type, which is of course good defensively. No, I know I might sound like I drafted River Rune because it got both typing at the same time. No, I don't think River Rune's that great, and it's not a Pokemon that would fit in my team. So I was struggling because beside that, the option for both of these types just separately were very bad. Like probably as far as best lower tier left, it was pretty much like the likes of Mug, which could definitely work, but I don't see it slotting in on my team, especially if it's a lower tier poison, because it means that I have to my least best Pokemon will be. I mean, I know it's weird for me to say that, but last season having Skunk Tank wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best either. So preferably I want a good poison type, but there was pretty much nothing left in the good poison type. Like nothing. Same for the steel types. There was nothing good left. Then it hit me. Of all the Pokemon I saw, I realized I missed this Pokemon that fit so well. And ladies and gentlemen, let me present you to my poison type of the team, Galarian Moltres. Okay, I know you're saying it. Amo, this is a dark flying type. This is not a poison type known as steel type. Ah, silly. We're in Galar. Any Pokemon can be any type. Yeah, notice that I haven't mentioned about my Terra user yet. Well, that's because of one, Spectrier is banned from Terra, which is like unlike last season. Like this time, we had certain Pokemon being banned from using Terra, and then this time for the Terra types, it was still two types, but this time we can decide which two types. They don't need to be like one type and then one non-regular type. It can be just two types of our choice, and I decided to go different this time. Last season we had our Terra type on Dragonite to make it better as an offensive threat. This time we're gonna use our Terra type to improve our Pokemon's coverage, defensive, and also improve its defensive capability more than what Dragonite was able to do. While also running our team in type, so that way we don't have to go into the bottom and get a Pokemon that we might not be able to bring every time, but we'll have to need to most of the time. And why Gmod in particular if I wanted to use the Terra Poison and Steel on it? Well, funnily enough, I was thinking about Electros for the Terra Steel originally, but then I realized for Poisons I needed something else. I thought it would be funny if I used Electros as a Terra user, but I changed quickly. And I realized that Gmod was actually pretty good, like, being a legendary as good as that. Also realized that our team is mostly legendaries. Yeah, it's a big step up from last season having as far as base stat logos being D-Knight at best and then Iron Thorn which we have dropped for Roland fan. Yeah, now we're going with high base stats this season, that's all I can say. But yeah, Demo stats are good. Also, this Demo is just a terror, like last gen was like agility with berserk. Use rest to recovery to get more berserk. Yeah, imagine that. But now, no matter what type I choose, I can just slam fairy types for free. I mean, there's not a lot of fairy types in the first place, but even the few that can will just get obliterated now by Gmod. But yeah, also like I said, its stats are good. Like even defensively, it's very good. Also, removing the stealth weakness means I can run like other items like recovery item or boosting item or whatever without having to worry about boots. Or I can still run boots on it. It's just it's free up my option on Gmo without being weak to to hazards. And yeah, I love Pokemon is this one that I'm talking the most over. That's because there's the Terra rule on it. So yeah, decided to be Poison and Steel because I am not drafting any other Pokemon of those types beside G mode for Terra. So of course I can only use one of those two types, but I feel like I can get by by being either only poison or only steel a week. Also, offensively, it's pretty good. Like I said, like yeah, if Ting-Lu is a dark type originally, but Ting-Lu's best is better to use Ruination as his dark move, which is fixed damage. So I can have Gmo to do dark type offense without the need of Ruination, which of course is still a great move. But now I have super effective with dark. I also have Zapdos for the flying coverage, so I don't really need Gmode, but that's also a good thing. Like I can just focus on spreading dark type offense with Gmode, and then I have just Terra Blast to cover with poison and steel while freed up my two last moveset. So yeah, probably just exciting to use. Like it's I want to see it shines really hard. It's gonna be a demon. Alright, and then after that I believe I went yeah yep, we are unlorsing the horse this season. Both Spectrier and Glacier on the same draft. No, I swear this is not mono legendary, mythical, or paradox or whatever. I just wanted an offensive ice type, and I saw it was that and Titan left, but I didn't want a Abomasnow because if I didn't want a Abomasnow without Titan, I would be like, oh, you should have went Abomasnow, for the option of the hail and everything. But then I decided to convince myself on Glacier, which kind of works similarly to Volcanion, where it's good in most situations. Like even though it doesn't resist anything, it has huge bow. You can take a hit even without resist. Also, it hits really hard back, especially if you don't damage it enough. Again, it gets a KO and gets the chilling nay boost and everything. And well, I'm curious how I will get use of Glacier this gen. But like, even if I don't, I still have double horse. Like who cares? We have horses. Yeah, we have horses. The next are non legendary Pokemon, but has a link with legendaries anyway. It's Cyclizar. I know getting normally a Pokemon just for spin, but it's not very good anyway. It's not healthy at all. But as far as Ocean goes, Cyclizar is probably the better one left. Like Regenerator is still a great ability, great speed, knockoff is great. Like it has good utility. It's not a Pokemon that I need to bring all the time. Like I think my first six alone is a good team enough. Like something that I can just bring all the time. Like I don't care if people know it's coming. And then depending on the matchup, I can just like drop one of them for for the likes of like either Glastrier if I need to, or Cyclozar if I want, if I need spin or cuff. Im- Absolutely, but it's just like it's for the option. Like I think I already have a good six anyway. And then speaking of opening more option, yay, an Ampharos! Was simply there to have another flying resist outside of Terra Steel Gmote, of course. Like just looking at my team, Bravebird hits hard. Like I know Ampharos is not that plashable, but eh, as far as electric goes, it's not the worst. Like it's pretty bulky. It got Dazzling Gleam, so it can hit. I mean, yeah, we got Dragon Pulse, so I guess Dazzling Gleam is just like I guess getting fighting type was pretty effective now. I guess, but yeah, I mean it's Ampharos. Yeah, it has static. It punish physical flying types. Yeah, I mean, I don't hype it up too much, but come on, it's Ampharos. We all love Ampharos. It's our favorite Gen 2 electric type. Yeah, right? We all love Ampharos, right? 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 Yeah, that's a Salzbach. That's pretty much what you expect. It's a Salzbach. I mean, hey, the sauce on his name is to represent summer, autumn, winter, spring. That's a cool that's nice, right? Like a nice detail, don't you think? Don't I think? You think that's a good detail, right? For his name, it's a sawbug, but with saws for every season. Yeah, I was desperate. Like I was like I said, I already had good Pokemon enough. I just like, well, if Sawsbuck will be the funny Pokemon we're gonna use this season. It's it's gonna be the Lechonk successor. I have decided. Will I ever use it? I don't know. I have to find the right matchup, just like I did with Lechonk last season. But we'll see. It's Salzbach. We have Salzbach. And then lastly, because I really, 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 really didn't need anything else, we went full meme on this one. We drafted the last Galarian legendary birds. Yeah, we have G Zapdos, G Moltres, and now G Articuno. I mean, it can be like Magearna by using agility and combat and star power, which is pretty nice if I want it. Or it can throw out some future sites. Yeah, it has recover, unlike the other two birds that cannot heal without rest. Yeah, we have double horse and triple birds. Yeah, we have all the legendaries of the Crown Tundra, except Calyrex, which is a big missed opportunity. Instead, we have Salzbach. Yeah. Alright, that's the draft analysis of the Montreal Ice Cubes. Yep, we are no longer. I guess you have realized it by now, but I just never mentioned it. We are not the Scorpies anymore after like 5 or 6 years of being doing draft league. We are now the Montreal Ice Cubes. I should have been this last year, but now is the time. Yeah, so this is indeed the first league the Montreal Ice Cubes will be taking in. And this time, I will. Yeah, now we don't need to draft Ice Cube most of the time now. We have it as a mascot of the team. It's here all the time now. So yeah, Montreal Ice Cubes are now gonna start their debut for week 1 in next week of when it's gonna be uploaded, not the literal next week of when I'm actually doing this right now. But yeah, that's all for today. I will see you either when I'm gonna do either another special video myself or when I'm gonna do the battle. Alright, that's enough. That's all for me. Bye bye.